Morning and welcome to today's episode of The Sun Down Under. I'm here, Felicity Cross, Deputy TV Editor of The Sun, to bring you all the news, good and bad, from camp as the celebrities head into their first full week on I'm A Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Lots to tell you about today and tease what's coming up in tonight's show. More on that later. So the first person that we've got to talk about is Nella Rose, and I have not seen a 180 like this since Roxanne Pallet in Celebrity Big Brother. Now obviously that was an incredibly extreme example, but Nella was going into last night's show with a huge boom in popularity. Everyone knew who she was. Bookies had even slashed her odds from 25-1 to just 16-1 on being crowned Queen of the Jungle. And out of nowhere, it felt like she took on someone who is a real fan favourite in Fred Sirius. They had a bizarre row over rights, him saying, "I could be your father." She opened up about the death of her parents, and it felt like there was some sort of real hurt there. But it just all came out really wrong and has really divided audience here. It's made her quite unpopular.
Oh, don't bring up my dead parent. Are you stupid about, you know, I could be your dad, right? You know my dad's dead. You're a weirdo.
I am
You're a weirdo.
Sorry you took it.
Okay,
I'm
cool,
so sorry.
thank you.
Can I just say, first of all, I am sorry I've offended you.
Just looking at fan reaction online, there's been a real 180 in opinion on her. She came across as quite entitled, that she was sort of looking to be offended, and it just won't have gone down well with viewers, especially because everybody loves Fred. So, you know, she could have come from a place where she really backed what she was saying, but she just did not handle that well at all. So real shame for Nella Rose there. We'll see what happens. Her trial also not a great moment for her.
I'm a celebrity, get me out here!
All right, let's get her out.
I'm a celebrity! I'm a celebrity!
It could have been a real point where she dug deep, but just coming off the back of that argument, then going into the admittedly terrifying looking trial, but then failing. Just as I say, a real 180 for her. Sorry about that, Nella. Now, another campmate adding meat to the bones last night was Nigel Farage. Now, he opened up on his 2010 plane crash, and it's just another of the revelations from the politician, which just make him just a bit more interesting than everyone else in camp. You know, he's one of the oldest, he's lived a life, he's got a lot to say, and he's got a lot to share. But it does mean that it's giving producers a little bit of a headache, as we tell in our exclusive story in today's Sun newspaper and online at thesun.co.uk. Let me explain why. So, Nigel's a divisive figure, and there's a lot of people working on this show who have an opinion on him. You know, they're real professionals. These people from ITV, employed both from Australia and from back home. They've been in the industry for years, they know what they're doing, and they're never going to layer their work with any kind of prejudice. But it's hard to be platforming someone whose views you probably disagree with. Now, that means that every day when they're looking at the content delivered from camp, it's starting to rub people up the wrong way that all of the best content is coming from Nigel. We hear from our sources that it's created a little bit of tension behind the scenes, with people thinking it's not another Nigel show, that it's not becoming the Farage takeover. It's hard though when all of the content coming from him is just so good, it's too good to ignore. Now, some of this content is the interesting conversations, and it is the, unusual tales from his life, but it's also things like the nudity in that shower.
I wasn't expecting to see Nigel Farage's bottom so soon.
We're all talking about it, but Nigel knows that. He's a clever man. He's watched this programme and he knows what kind of things will deliver. And actually, he gave the game away a little bit last night on the show when he said to Grace Dent that he was gutted not to do the trial because those who went outside of camp to the trial area got 25% more airtime. It's the kind of comment that viewers don't like. They don't like that kind of peek behind the veil that someone is playing the game. So this could end up being a real mistake for Nigel Farage in his efforts to try and stay in that camp and stay popular with voters. Either way, you can read more about that story in The Sun to hear what's going on behind the scenes and that kind of struggle to deliver a good programme while also feeling like you don't want one campmate to completely take over the show, which we're slightly in danger of here because Nigel's just giving such great telly right now. One of the other big characters in camp for all the wrong reasons is Jamie Lynn Spears. Now, we already know that she is feeling homesick. The others are trying to cheer her up. But as we told you a couple of days ago in The Sun, she's already been seen as a flight risk by crew. Now, it's just looking flakier and flakier from Jamie Lynn.
Why would y'all put them through that? They feel guilty, like they didn't come back with the gifts for their friends. This is not okay. I want to go home.
She had a tough episode last night, obviously more tears. She actually said that she was thinking about leaving, but perhaps more interestingly to all of us desperate to hear news of her big sister Britney, we can reveal in today's newspaper that Britney has been watching. So Britney asked her team to install a VPN system, which meant that she could catch up on I'm A Celebrity and see how Jamie Lynn was getting on. And I don't know about you, but I found this incredibly exciting. To think that Britney sat there watching Ant and Dec make all of these jokes about the most famous Spears sibling Brian and watching Jamie Lynn in camp just feels like a real, I don't know, culture clash moment. So that's a fun one to catch up on in today's paper. So looking ahead, what have we got coming up? Well, tonight's show promises to be a big one. Jamie Lynn will be facing her first trial. This might be what ends up pushing her over the edge, to be honest. So all systems go, everyone will be on alert to see what happens to Jamie Lynn Spears as she takes on her first trial. It looks to be a terrifying physical one, so it is called the Climb of Cruelty. This could be the trial which execs told me last week is the highest ever in I'm A Celebrity Australia's history. It looks like a knee trembler, so we'll see how she gets on. Join me tomorrow for the Sun Down Under when I'll be sharing exactly how she gets on and then all the news and views from the camp as I'm A Celebrity Get Me Out Here continues. See you tomorrow!